Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, aka I'm a Ghostbuster, and today I'm doing a quick review for Arcadegeddon on the Xbox Series X and S console. Now this was released to the store on the 5th of July 2022, developed and published by illfonic, who were kind enough to send me a copy for this review, so big thank you to them for that. And this is a co-op team-based shooter with roguelike elements, and like I say, this developer has very good history with multiplayer games. They made the Friday the 13th game, which I absolutely adore. It is, yes, it's not perfect, but it's bloody good fun, and I recommend anyone playing it. They also made the Predator game for the PlayStation, and they are working on a new Ghostbusters co-op shooter sort of experience that I cannot wait for. It's one of my most anticipated games this year. Huge Ghostbusters fan, so I was really looking forward to jump into this. It's been out about a year now on the Epic Game Store and the PlayStation, but it's finally come over to the Xbox consoles on the Xbox Series X and S only, so this is a next-gen only game. Now, the basic story of this game is that Gilly, the owner of the local arcade, is trying to save his business from a faceless mega corporation, Fun Co. And he basically makes this super arcade game by combining all the other games together. And he's like, this is going to stick it to them, I'm going to save my arcade, basically. But they get wind of this, and they launch a cyber attack on it and inject a virus into the game. And you're basically sent in to save the game and save this arcade. Now, this is a co-op experience. However, there is also a offline single player mode, which is what you're viewing right now. I did play the single player mode first. I always like to have get used to the controls and stuff like that before I play it. And in single player, it's not bad either. It's a bit more difficult because there's sometimes quite a few enemies, and it makes it a bit more difficult when you're on your own. However, it is fun, and it's even more fun with a friend. And also, the game also features a 8-player PvP mode as well as the standard up to 4-player PvE mode. And the PvP mode is more just like a competitive, see who does the best on the missions, basically, kind of mode. I didn't play that much, I mainly stuck to the PvE. Now, the way it works is you go through these sort of runs, is the best way to describe it, across like randomly generated biomes and missions and levels. So there's a variety of different biomes from this sort of grungy city look you're seeing right now. There's like a lava level, there's like a computeristic sort of futury sort of VR sort of style biome, and there's also a really nice, and which is my favorite, is this it's a very bright colored sort of, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, like a lush vegetation level, kind of like a mix between sort of like a jungle and a forest. Looks really nice, really like pops with the colours, like the greens and stuff of the trees. Now, gameplay wise, you can hold up to 3 different weapons at a time and you can flick between them. There's a whole host of different weapons to be able to use. I picked up tons just on my first playthrough. It's a big variety. There's melee and ranged, and they all do different things. You get rocket launchers, machine guns, rifles, all sorts of cool different variations, and it's all about sort of finding things that work best for your playstyle. Now, as you progress, this is very much a looter shooter. There is tons of things. There's boxes to break to gain currency. There's chests to smash to get items and stuff like that, and treasure and stuff like that. So it's well worth looking around the levels to find things. There's loads of different enemies, which obviously, and depending on which enemies you're up against, it when you're playing, can be randomized. So every time you go into a game, you could be playing a totally different biome with a totally different sort of layout, totally different set of enemies and weapons and stuff like that. So there's a lot of replayability to it. Now, the combat is fast-paced at times, but very smooth, very solid. Lots of jumping around, dodging, and very combo-based. All about trying not to get hit while obviously racking up the combo on your enemies. There's also obviously bosses as you progress and get through the stages. They do get harder, and you can also up the difficulty as you're playing if you want to get a higher sort of drop rate, better drop, better loot, etc. You can up the difficulty while you're playing. And when you're not in the levels, there's a hub world. Basically, you're in and around the arcade, and you can interact with sort of characters and stuff like that around the arcade. Now, when you're in this arcade, there's all sorts of things to do. You can sort of see the leaderboards. You can interact with 12 different gangs in this arcade as well. And as you progress through the game, you unlock their leaders. And each of the leaders has a unique style and set of challenges for you to complete, which unlock unique gang cosmetics and power tokens that can be spent on new abilities and plugins and stuff like that. There's also sort of daily challenges and sort of a rotating store where you can buy different cosmetics and stuff like that as you progress. Now, this game does feature microtransactions as well. There is a paid currency if you don't want to grind it out, because there is a bit of grinding to get certain things. But I don't particularly like that in games where you have to pay. If this was a free-to-play game, I'd be like well up for it, because like I say, it's a very solid game. It will live or die though on its player base, so there's not a lot of support. Luckily there is that offline mode, but the main draw of this game is the 4-player sort of team-based aspect of it, and if there isn't anyone else playing it, then you may struggle. But like I say, the game is priced at $24.99, and like I say, it looks fantastic. It runs super smooth. Like I say, it always felt like it was running pretty much at 60 FPS, and according to the Xbox Store, it features Dolby Atmos support, 4K res support, 60 FPS plus ray tracing, because it's all optimized for Xbox Series X and S. Now, graphically, it doesn't blow your mind, but it works really well. It looks fantastic, especially on some of the biomes. The lava one and the sort of jungle one really look fantastic. You've got to see them to sort of see how great they look. Characters have a very Fortnite-y sort of feel to them, but that's not a bad thing at all. Like I say, I don't have any problem with the Fortnite look either. The sort of cartoony smoothness to it, but that's probably the best way to describe it. Now, like I say, if you die or you beat the run, you get tickets and XP, and there's sort of like a level up system for your character, so you're able to upgrade things, perks, abilities, which help your strength, endurance, etc. So there's, even if you fail a mission like a run, you're still going to be able to improve. Now, the game also features an absolutely great soundtrack, loads of different sort of musical genres thrown into one, really good upbeat music that's perfect to get you in the mood for this sort of crazy combo based action. And like I say, overall it's a really fun game. I highly recommend it. Like I say, I have played some of their multiplayer games in the past, and they're normally good fun with odd little bugs and stuff like that. And like I say, as long as they keep supporting this game, adding new biomes and new content, I feel like it could go far. It's really fun, but the $24.99 price may stop it from having a very large player base, which I feel it could use in the future. But maybe it'll get stuck on Game Pass, maybe it'll go free to play in the future once it's run its course. I don't know, but I feel like with a big player base, this game could go really far, because it feels great, it plays great, and it looks great. It's just all about having the community there to be able to run the co-op or the PvP based missions. But that's it for this content, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon for more videos. Bye for now.